Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Lindsay and this is Waldorf Inspired Roots, where we share our homeschool journey and family adventures. Today I'll be sharing our Waldorf curriculum haul. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and say hello down in the comments. Thank you for joining me. I am so excited to get into this haul with you. Let me start out by saying I am going to leave a link in the comments for the different shops that I got these things from, but as I go along I will definitely mention where I got them. And let's start with this painting board. I actually have two of them here that I picked up, and I actually just ordered another one that should be here sometime this week, I would think. I am in love with the wood grain and the colors. They are finished in linseed oil, and I actually picked up some extra linseed oil. The boards themselves are from Nova Naturals, and then the Linsheen quality raw linseed oil I actually just picked up from Amazon. It was pretty inexpensive, but I picked this up because I called on the website for Nova Naturals. It explains that these can last for a very long time and stay really nice with some extra care, but I didn't notice that it said how to care for them, and I was looking for care instructions but couldn't seem to find them. So I did call, and I was told that every couple times after using them to re-oil them, and they should stay nice for a very long time. So I'm really excited to use them. I have used them once with my kids, and really excited for future projects. So let's see, the next thing that I think I want to show you, I want to go through some of our books next. Now, I've seen these on a couple other channels and I decided to pick them up. My kids really seem to love poetry. My 15-year-old loves when I read poetry, and then my 2.5-year-old, he's just starting to get into it. But some of the kids that I also watch, they really like the poetry, and we read it during circle time just about every day. So I picked up the spring one, which is the one, since we're moving into spring right now, this is the one that I've already read a couple from during circle time. But so it has poetry, and then I also noticed that as you're flipping through, it actually has songs, and I haven't played any sort of instruments since I was very young, but I am planning to pick up a pentatonic recorder at some point, and my youngest is pretty little at this point, so I haven't yet. But I would love to learn how to do, some of these songs and things like that. And I think, so there's actually, quite a few songs, and then there's also poems. And I think some of these songs can easily be read as a poem also. And so we'll probably use it in both ways. But so there is the spring, and then we also picked up the summer and the autumn and the winter. So I'm really excited to be able to use those. Next thing I want to show you is I did pick up the Color Dynamics workbook for watercolor painting and color theory. Now, like I said, the kids that I watch are all preschool, pre-kindergarten, and my little one is 2.5, and I do have a 15-year-old here also. So some of these projects I will be working on with my 15-year-old, and he went to public school until he was in 5th grade, and they never really did a whole lot of art. And so when I pulled him out, he just always thought he didn't really care for art very much, and we've discovered that he really does. He just was inexperienced and didn't really know a lot about it. So this is good. Even though he's 15, it's going to be really fun for us to kind of go through some of these things and look at, the preparation and the techniques. They talk about wet on wet and veil or layer painting, which we've never done that. We have done the wet on wet with both my kiddos. We were just kind of experimenting and playing with the colors and watching them swirl around, and it's very mesmerizing to watch. So this is really exciting. This starts with just the color yellow. Now this is a fun project that I can do with my preschool, pre-kindergarten, and my 2.5-year-old, because they're all at the point right now that they're learning their colors and exploring colors. And so we actually just recently did a project where we mixed yellow and then they were able to mix blue watercolor paint with it. And, you know, they were learning and discovering that yellow and blue make green. And so we'll move on and do the other secondary colors. And then, you know, move on to some tertiary colors from there. But I'm really excited that this book starts so basic, but so beautiful. Look how beautiful this is, even with just the one color, or, you know, a few different variations of that one color. Some of these are just beautiful. And so I'm very excited to do some of these projects with my oldest and my youngest and all the, you know, the kids that I watch. But yeah, some of these, I mean, look at the detail you can get just from, you know, just a couple basic colors. So, well, and really this is just a few different hues of the same color and white. And then they've got some of the dark space. It's so beautiful what you can do and the inspiration that this book can give. So I'm very excited that we picked this book up. This book is going to come in handy for a very long time. Another book that we picked up is this book here. It's called Numerica, a Waldorf book of counting, and it's by Gloria Kemp. For my 2.5-year-old, this is a little bit much as far as how, you know, how detailed the words are and things, but the pictures are just beautiful, and he isn't quite able to sit through a book this length yet. He's still doing more of the pretty short, rhymey, you know, books. So we picked up a ton, which I can go over. My next video is going to be our preschool, kindergarten-ish age, or early childhood spring book collection. And so I'll show you some of the other books that we picked up for spring specifically. And in the future, I can actually do more videos with different book collections, because we rotate our books out, I'd say every month. You know, I'll pull some and add some. So this book, though it's a little bit too lengthy for my 2.5-year-old, he will get out of it what he gets out of it. But the kids, I have a couple kids who are about to go to kindergarten, and so this book is perfect for them. They are 4 and 5. So this book goes through the numbers, and I guess it's a story about two little kids, and they discover the numbers through seasons and nature and things like that. So I'm really excited. The illustrations are beautiful in this book. So I am really excited, and you know, this is something that even my young 2.5-year-old, he will grow into it, and he might only sit for, you know, small spurts of this, but as he grows, you know, he'll get more and more out of it. So this is a book that I feel like we'll be able to use for a very long time, and even into, you know, elementary school and upper elementary school, this is a book that we can still pull and use later. So I did get another number and counting book. All of my kids who are going to kindergarten in the fall, my own kids are homeschooled, but the kids that I watch, they will all be going to public school. So we are definitely, their parents and myself definitely want to make sure that they are exposed to numbers and letters and things to make sure that they are ready according to our, you know, local school districts kindergarten readiness checklist, and what they are basically expected to kind of know, or at least be introduced to prior to going to kindergarten. So I definitely, and that's actually why in my previous video we did the Oak Meadow kindergarten curriculum, because they start going through some of the letters, and even though that's not typical for a Waldorf curriculum, and even though a lot of these books that I picked up wouldn't necessarily be typical for the age of, you know, my personal little one's age and then the kids that I watch, this, I don't know that this would be necessarily introduced at this age, but because I have the kids going to public school, I decided to go ahead and pick these up. And then my youngest, who will be homeschooled throughout his entire academic career, I decided that, I mean, these are books that he will obviously use at some point and grow into. and whatever exposure he has prior to when he's 6 or 7 and actually is ready to be learning these things. I mean, I just figure whatever exposure he has prior is, whatever he gets out of it, he gets out of it, but we'll just repeat this up until he is, has mastered it. So however, whenever that happens. So I would sort of read some of this, but then I discovered instead of reading this, we went through and we just talked about the pictures, and the illustrations are beautiful, and he loved telling me what colors these were, because he's very big into his colors right now. And so, and he did like the rhyminess of, some of the word, vocabulary and things on here. But mostly he liked looking at the pictures, and he was telling me that this was a sun and pointing out that that was blue and things like that. So he liked this book for that. And I think it's great if your kids can get things out of it even before they're ready for the actual content of the book. So that's how we're using it. And then the next book I think I want to share with you is LMNOP and all the letters A to Z. This is a beautiful book, and for every letter of the alphabet they have a beautiful illustration that incorporates the letter. This is the letter T, and then it has a poem, and it has a lot of words that begin with that letter for beginning sounds. However, the thing that I love about this book is, as important as it is to be able to distinguish beginning sounds, it's also important to understand, ending sounds and middle sounds. So I love that with these poems, the words are simple enough that I'm able to emphasize whatever the letter is in whatever part of the poem. So, here we've got the word tail for T, but then for the word straight, I would emphasize the T at the end, straight, and I would just really, emphasize that. And my kids really pick up on that, and they'll tell me, oh, there's a T at the end of that one. And so basically how we have worked it, we just go through we read one letter poem a day, and we are just working our way through. And then when we get to the end, we start over. And hopefully by the time they get to kindergarten, they'll recognize some of these. They're at least introduced to it, but we're not going so full into it that it's ahead of where they're developmentally ready to be. So that's how we're using this book. Now, I did also pick up the companion book that goes with that one. It's Working with LMNOP and all the letters A to Z. And this is a manual for parents and teachers. The beginning goes through and tells you about imagination and, how to use the book and the reciting of the poems and things like that. But then when you actually get into the book, it'll have a letter, and it goes through and it has story suggestions. And this would be a story that I would read ahead of time and I would orally tell, which in the Waldorf curriculum or the Waldorf philosophy, they emphasize most of your stories being oral. And even though we read a lot of picture books in, our day, I also try to incorporate a lot of oral stories. And I did pick up something else that is amazing at helping with that. So we'll share that in a little bit. But it has a reciting thing to help them to learn how to say, the sounds that letter makes. And then it has some activities. It has, kind of some vowel. This one in particular has a vowel exercise. Now, I wouldn't begin with A if I was teaching actual letters, but you don't have to begin anywhere in particular. With this or with the book itself, you can do whatever letter you want and pick and choose, because they're poems and it's not a start to finish kind of book. But yeah, so it's got some activities, and then short A, the ah sound. So I do like how it helps to incorporate, more than one sound, because most of our letters do say more than one sound. It has a game. It has names with a tongue twister, which kids always find super fun. Drawing. So I love that within all these activities, it really does incorporate all the different learning styles. And so if you touch base on all of the different learning styles, hopefully your kids will, whatever learning style they have, you can either pick and choose, or if you're teaching to multiple kids, multiple ages and things like that, then you can kind of go through several of these, and hopefully you'll touch base on whatever, on each of the kids' different learning styles. So, and it just goes through, and it has the same things for all the different letters, all the way up to Z. So the next book that we picked up is Creative Form Drawing. Now, this book is typically would be done with children ages 6 to 10. So this would be first grade and up. Now, all of the kids that I watch and my 2.5-year-old is very into art. He loves being creative. He loves writing, coloring, and things like that. So even though this is technically for first grade to about 5th grade, it does start pretty simple. This isn't something that I would probably get too far into with my little one yet, or the little ones that I watch. It does start with a straight line and a curved line, and then combinations of those. This is even too advanced for my 2.5-year-old though. However, I have 2 kids that are 5 or close to 5, and this is something that we could do with them. They are really focused on and enjoying patterns right now, so this would pique their interest for the pattern aspect of it, and then they would be getting some pencil grasping or chubby crayon grasping techniques from that. But I think we could probably do some of these things, but some of these things get to where, as easy as this looks, it's really hard to have the spatial awareness to do this on a page. But most of my kids, would enjoy at least attempting this. But I think most of this book would be more so for my older ones, and then for my 2.5-year-old when he's of that age, so closer to first grade. But I did pick this up because I wanted to look at it and thought it would be fun even for myself to do it. And especially when you get toward the back, the mirroring is actually a really hard skill to do. Some of these other forms toward the back are very, those are pretty. See, some of these things are things that even I would enjoy. I love coloring, so I will probably even try to do some of these. So yeah, there's that one. The next book that I picked up is actually another poetry book. I picked up A Child's Book of Poems. The illustrations in this book are beautiful, and some of them are black and white, and some pages have more than one short poems, and then there's some poems that are longer and it's full color images. But let me just flip through this book. This book I think is so gorgeous, and this is a book that I absolutely love, and the poems that I've read so far are absolutely beautiful, and my 2.5-year-old loves reading poetry before we go to bed, so he's really going to enjoy this. I'm really excited about this one. Oh, look at that picture, just gorgeous. The next book that I'm going to show you is, I picked up an illustrated treasury of Grimm's fairy tales. Now, it actually has, it's a very heavy book. First of all, it's very, very weighty, and the pages are very high quality pages, and there's so many stories in here. Let's see, it goes up to 20, up to 30. So there's 30 different stories, and some of the stories are, familiar, but these are the Grimm's ones, so they're not Disney versions. So I will be reading these or pre-reading these prior to, either orally telling or reading them to any of the kids, just because I've heard, and I haven't read firsthand, but I've heard a lot of the Grimm's fairy tales, some of them can be a little horrific. So I definitely will be pre-reading these and recommend you do the same. But I'm very excited to have some of these. Now, because there are some pictures, I believe, yes. It's the illustrated version, so obviously there's pictures, sorry. But yeah, so there's a lot of words and then one picture. And then I didn't notice how long they were. I just kind of flipped through. So there's actually only one beautiful illustration, but there's only one illustration for this particular entire story. So there's a lot of words. So this would be one that I would probably want to read maybe even a couple times because it is lengthy. So I know the story and can pick up on some of the vocabulary and things to try to use you know, some of this very rich vocabulary while I'm orally retelling it. But I would probably just have, you know, if I had kids in front of me or on the carpet, I would probably just direct the book in their direction like that, and so that they could at least maybe have this image, but then I would just be orally telling it. I don't know that any of my kids are quite at the point where they would be able to sit through that much dialogue, but I just kind of want to flip through. This is The Wolf and the Seven Little Goats. Again, this is a gorgeous illustration. So I do want to just kind of go to the back and just, so gorgeous. I just want to flip through for you guys. Sometimes I like when I'm able to look through books prior to purchasing them. Oh, gorgeous. So I'll just kind of flip through. The illustrator did such a good job with this book. Really excited to read through and share some of these stories with my kids. And then this will be one that even my 15-year-old would really enjoy. He obviously would read the full thing, but even my 15-year-old would definitely enjoy reading some of these, or maybe even doing a project. And so we'll see what we end up using, how we end up using this for my older one. But my younger one, this is something he can get out of this whatever he can at his stage, and we'll use it in a condensed version, but then over time we'll get to, and this is one that will just really grow with him, and I love books that can do that. The last book I believe I picked this up. I love art. I'm not very good at art, to be honest with you. I'm not very good personally at thinking up things. I struggle to think of things on my own, but I feel like I at least have a shot at doing something artistic if I have something as my inspiration, or I can pull inspiration from a few different things and go from there. But I struggle to, with my imagination, to come up with things on my own. But I do like having things like this to help with inspiration, and I think that this is really great for the kids to be able to see some art that is, from history and famous paintings and artwork and things like that. So I did go ahead and purchase this, and again, it does introduce the letters and letter sounds. We might only just look at one or two of these, once or twice throughout the week or whatnot. This isn't something I would do every day, and I certainly wouldn't go through the whole book. It would be one that we might, look at something and talk about it and try to pull vocabulary, especially with my 2.5-year-old, just trying to introduce him to new vocabulary words and enrich his language skills. But yeah, so here, it's just a letter and a little sentence, and it just has famous paintings from history. So I just thought it was really beautiful and a really creative ABC book. Okay, so that is all of the books. The next thing that I think I want to share with you, now I've already opened this up. I've already pulled a couple of these out. This just arrived a couple days ago, but I've already worked with them. But I did pick up a 50-pack of these little peg dolls. This happens to be the size that we use most often. We use them with felt. So far I've only used them with acrylic felt. I am mildly allergic to wool, and so other than the acrylic felt, I haven't really found another alternative. Though I did purchase some wool felt that I'm gonna try. It's been a very long time actually since I was a child that I really handled or dealt with wool, so we'll see if my allergy is, or where my allergy stands. I'm hoping that I can handle it, because the wool felt just feels so much richer and so much nicer, and you can work with it so much better. So I did pick up a little bit of that I'll show you in a little bit. But so far, all the peg dolls that we've done have been with the acrylic felt, or we've painted them with watercolor paint, things like that. And we've created little knights and gnomes and weather gnomes, things like that. So I did pick up a 50-pack of those. So I'm really excited for some of the projects. And then in addition to the 50 pack, I found this on Amazon, and there we go. So this one just has different sizes, which I thought would be kind of fun to kind of go through and look at the different sizes and have little kids, and then I think they even have really tiny ones that could be a baby, and then they've got 2 different versions of each, and I believe there's 40 or 50 in here also of these, so we picked up those as well. And I just realized, I apologize, but I just realized I haven't been telling you guys where I purchased these things from. So most of the books that I showed you, I told you these are from Nova Natural. Most of the books that I showed you are either from A Child's Dream or Amazon. And I will link them in the description box below so that you can find them a little bit easier. The Peg dolls, both of those sets that I just showed you are from Amazon. And then all of my Stockmar products here are from A Child's Dream. We haven't worked with these. I've actually never used any Stockmar, so I'm kind of excited. I haven't even officially opened these yet. I heard they smell good. I'm not really sure. But I did just pick up the 3 primary colors. I believe they have 6 colors that they primarily use, but I think there are other versions of the primary colors. And then I did believe on A Child's Dream you can get black, white, and like a brown, if I'm not mistaken. So there's a few other things, but since I'm working with kids who are so young, I just started with the primary colors, and we'll have, especially for my 2.5-year-old, we'll have probably years of exploring and experimenting with just the primaries before we get into anything more than that. So I did pick up those. I'm anxious to see how these are. So far, I have just used tempera paint mixed with some water, and we kind of created our own watercolors. So this will be the first time that I use actual watercolors, so I'm kind of excited to see how they compare and how they're different. So the next thing I'm going to show you, I did pick up, actually I picked this up for a project. Let me find. So this is the very thin wax, and so there's lots of different colors. It comes with a piece of onion paper in between to keep them separated, but it comes with all these different amazing colors. Now I know that working with wax and modeling and clay and things like that are so good for building muscles in early childhood development for fine motor skills and things like that. So we did go ahead and pick these up. We normally just have so far worked with Play-Doh, kinetic sand. I think that's kind of all, other than baking and making bread and kneading bread and things like that. We have just worked with Play-Doh and kinetic sand. So I'm very excited to work with some new mediums. So this one in particular I purchased for Easter. Easter's coming up, and I purchased these wooden eggs. I have one per kiddo that I have, and so I heard that you can use the thin wax to cover the wood, and so we'll see how that project goes. But my goal is for them to cover these and decorate their eggs with the wax, and then they'll get to take those home. So that's what that project is for. And then the wax. So I'll just set that aside for a minute. I did get the thicker wax also. This is the Stockmar. It comes with 12 different colors. It's the modeling beeswax. I heard these smell amazing. I'm actually curious. Oh, they do. They smell amazing. Okay, so this is the thicker, and they are much, as you can tell, they're much thicker. And it comes with 12 different colors. So 3 layers, yeah. So 12 different colors of this, and this one we can actually use for modeling other things. Now the projects that you see here I don't think my kids are quite ready for, but we'll see what they come up with. I'm really excited to see what my kids come up with on their own. And then I also am going to be purchasing some Fimo clay that we can put in the oven. And so just trying to really get in as many different mediums and sources as I can. I also just recently bought a block of air drying clay for a project that I needed to do. And so I'm kind of excited for the kids to be able to work with that too. So just, you know, using as many different mediums as I can. Now, the next thing I want to show you is this block crayons? Yes. So this is the Stockmar block crayons. I have never personally drawn with block crayons. These look amazing, and I'm really excited for my kiddo to work with these. These ones are, I think, usually purchased closer to kindergarten, but you know, for early childhood, I didn't think it could hurt, and I thought it'd be so nice to get the 16 set, even though probably in the beginning, you know, we'll probably just work with the primary colors and move on from there. But I did want to get the full set just so that it's something that can grow with us, because I've seen a lot of other people who have had their block crayons or their stick crayons, to be honest. They've had them and they've talked about having them for forever, basically. And so I definitely wanted to get ones that were going to grow with us, that we can have for a very long time, if not, you know, for forever. And so we'll see how long those last. And I did also go ahead and get the stick crayons as well. These, I think, will be used for form drawing, which, like I said, he's not quite ready for yet, my son. But some of the kids that I watch can use these for you know, doing a simplified version of form drawing for them. I think it'd be a fun project, so I picked up those two. The next thing that I want to show you is another project that we're going to be doing soon. These are little eggs, and I was looking for something else. I believe I said the Stockmar stuff was all purchased on A Child's Dream, by the way. This was purchased on Amazon, and I can't remember what I was looking for, but when you look at things on Amazon, I love the fact that it will suggest things that you might like. And this, I think this just happened to come up because I was looking for a natural paint or something. I can't remember. But this is called Natural Earth Paint, and it tells you to mix with water 1-to-1 ratio, and it comes with several different colors. And I think you can also mix the colors to make other colors, so that will be a fun project. And then we can go ahead and paint this. We probably won't use this paintbrush that it came with. I have other paintbrushes that I purchased for you know, for the kids a long time ago. So, but this will be another project that we can work on for Easter. Again, for Easter, I picked up this natural egg dye. We have never really dyed eggs before. We've done the plastic eggs that you fill with things, but I'm trying to get away from, we've never really bought plastic toys for my little one, because I actually discovered Waldorf, Montessori, Charlotte Mason, things like that. I discovered that when I was pregnant with him. For my older one, he primarily had all the plastic toys that were all the rage at the time, and I decided when I was pregnant, you know, with my second son, I decided that we wanted to do something different. And I found all these toys that are so beautiful, and I'll be able to pass them along from companies like Grimm's and Ostheimer. And so since we don't really have any plastic toys, I think we might have a couple little miscellaneous things, but and then some of our outside toys are plastic, but we have been trying to be very natural with our choices and very as eco-friendly as we can be. So I did like that this said it was natural dyes made with fruits, herbs, and vegetables, 100% safe and non-toxic. And I thought that this would be so fun, even with my 15-year-old, to really get into, you know, dyeing actual hard-boiled eggs, because even with my older one, of course, we've done that when he was little, but it's not something that we have done in a very long time, so I think even he will enjoy this. But I did pick up the natural one, and so I'm really excited to try this out and see, you know, see how it is. this little match game. Now this I picked up from Bella Luna Toys, and actually we have a pretty substantial amount of our toys are from Bella Luna. I absolutely love them. I love their customer service. I love the things that they have. So I did pick this up from them. It's my little matching game. But I wasn't really sure if this would be a game that my little one would be ready for or anything. But as it turns out, all of my preschool age kids and then my son, who's 2.5, they adore this game. They ask to play this game literally every single day. And so I'm so pleased. And the illustrations, or the paintings rather, are so beautiful on these cards. And I'll just lay out a couple of them here just so that you can see. They are so gorgeous. And so this is such a wonderful version of a matching game. And I love how a lot of the colors are similar, and so they really have to pay attention to detail to remember the differences in them. And there is so much detail in each one, but a lot of them are similar enough that they really have to pay attention. And I think that was part of the reason that I was a little bit scared that my little one wouldn't be ready for this. But very surprisingly to me, he is absolutely ready for this, and he adores this game also. So yeah, here's some more of the cards. Just kind of flip through some of those. I love the lion, and I love the mushroom too. So yeah, I'll just kind of put these back. This was pretty inexpensive, and like I said, this gets used almost on a daily basis, and they've held up so well for how much playtime that they've been through. They look like they're in pristine condition, and this is after using them every day for the past 2 weeks since I purchased them. The next little game that I got, it just arrived a couple days ago. This is from A Child's Dream. It's by Ibu. It's Create a Story cards, and today was day 3 of using these. And their faces when they were telling these stories, they were so excited, and they really were starting to use their imaginations more and more. And then, some of them would pick up little tidbits. And then I thought it was fascinating that, one kiddo would have a card, and then the next kiddo would have a card, and they'd be like, oh, so she was doing this and this and this, and then look what she's doing over here, and I wonder why. And so then they're trying to connect them, which I think ultimately is how you're supposed to use these cards. You're supposed to, build your story. But at first I was just trying to get them to tell me any sort of story about one card, and then I was going to build from there. But it was amazing to me to see that they were using each other's cards to build on their own story, and they were all getting into it together. And so I'm so pleased and so excited that I purchased these, and they will definitely be part of our circle time on a pretty regular basis. Okay, the next thing that I picked up, again, we're doing a lot with famous art and things like that. I think that's all of them. I'm missing one. But these are just cards, and it tells a little bit about who painted it, when it was painted. The back of this I won't probably utilize until my 2.5-year-old is in elementary school. But the front of these, we use it as a vocabulary builder. So we go through some of these famous paintings, and we'll talk about, oh my gosh, what is this picture? How beautiful! What colors do you see? What what is this picture of? Or I'll just hand it to him, and my little one will just start telling me, oh mom, look, so these are really exciting. And I think these are by Usborne, but I did purchase these on Amazon. The next, I actually want to do 2 things kind of at the same time. I purchased this candle making kit from Amazon. I did see on A Child's Dream that they had similar kits, but they were very colorful wax, which there's nothing wrong with colorful wax, but for the project that I'm wanting to do, which was more similar to this, I wanted a more natural colored wax to do candle making with the kids that they can take home. And so I just went online and I just typed in, beeswax candle making kit, and this one happened to pop up, and I fell in love with it. I do believe, I have not opened this. So I'm gonna open this with you, kind of do a little mini unboxing, but I believe it comes with all these things, and I didn't even read that it comes with that, so I'm not really sure, but I do believe that it comes with those things. This is, oh yep, it does. Oh, so cute. So it comes with little plastic bees and cinnamon, and then the wick. Comes with an orange and some lace and some twine, and then I believe this is just an empty box. No, that's not actually. What is this? Oh, this is dried flowers. Oh, and they smell amazing. They smell wonderful, and I wonder, this looks like a real orange, so I bet it probably smells amazing too. So I just want to see. Oh yes, okay, so definitely real dried orange, very citrusy. So yeah, so it comes with all these things, and then I believe the wax is, oh yeah, the sheets of wax are down below. It is real, 100% real natural beeswax. Now for my littles, we won't use a whole sheet per kid. We won't do really tall. We'll probably do candles that are, you know, half of this, and so that they're a little stockier. But yeah, so I'm really excited to do this project. We're gonna do a unit on bees, I believe, probably at the end of this month or the beginning of April. So we'll probably use this for that unit. And then I'll just set that aside for a minute. So this Big Dipper Waxworks 100% beeswax candle, it's a pillar candle. I picked this up from a child's dream. And I have to say, I purchased a beeswax candle from Amazon a long time ago. And I have to say I was a little disappointed. I don't know what brand it was or anything like that, but I was a little disappointed that it didn't really have a smell. So I wasn't sure. I've heard that beeswax candles smell amazing. And so I did purchase this one hoping, and this is, like I said, from a child's dream. As soon as I got the box and as soon as I opened the box up, this is the first thing that I smelled, and I was so pleased that it smells so amazing. And so the very last thing that I want to talk about, I purchased these two things on Amazon, and this is actually the wool felt I was talking to you about earlier, and I just purchased white. We'll see how I do as far as allergy wise. I'm hoping that I've outgrown it, or you know, that if I just touch it with my hands it'll be fine. But so this is just white. I saw a project on, I believe it was on Etsy. Somebody had made peg dolls that looked, the felt cloaks with the hats for the peg dolls looked tie-dyed with pastel-y colors, and it was so beautiful. And you know, as much as you know, I had thought about purchasing them, but I love making things on my own, and so I kind of wanted to try it, but I could not find rainbow, you know, tie-dye looking felt anywhere, and I hunted. So I'm sure I could actually probably find it on Etsy. I didn't look there, but so I did get the felt, and then I found this natural fade tie-dye kit, and it's by SEI Crafts. These are both from Amazon. I love the colors. This is the color scheme that I was kind of wanting to do on the cloaks. And this is a spray bottle. I'm not sure how to use this. I will very, very surely test this out on another fabric or paper towel prior to putting it on the felt, because I don't want to ruin the felt, and that way I can kind of get a technique going. But I am very excited to do this project, and if you'd like to see a tutorial when I do that, I would be glad to do a video of that. So let me know in the comments if you'd like to see a tutorial for tie-dyeing felt. I will make that for you. So those are all the things that I picked up. We are super excited to kind of get into this, and I will do tutorials on things and do reviews as we use them. But if there's anything that you want to know anything more about, please feel free to leave a comment below, and If there's any other types of videos that you want to see, let me know. I will be doing a video for, like I said, the spring book collection, and then I've got some other videos that I am going to be going into. I think I'm also going to do a curriculum choice for my 15-year-old for high school. He is not necessarily doing a Waldorf curriculum. We pull from many different sources. He does a morning basket. If you want to see, what's in his morning basket for high school age, I can do that also. Just let me know again down below if that's something you would want to see. So if you guys want to see more videos in the future and follow our journey, please like and subscribe and comment below. Thank you so much. Bye.